Round 1 of the 2006 Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series kicked off with the main game at the season-opening Clipsal 500 in Adelaide. Race 1 got underway late on Friday afternoon, and although Matthew White got the jump on the field, it was pole sitter Mark Porter who was a little too quick, picking up a black flag for jumping the start.
The black flag for Porter, black flag for Porter.
Porter's drive-through handed second place to Tony D'Alberto until he spun by himself, letting Macro, Caruso and Denya past. Race leader Matthew White was forced into the pits with a jammed gearbox, robbing him of a certain race victory. However, the unlikely action arose during a safety car period when Marcus Liddell slammed into the wall hard after losing the left rear wheel at the high-speed turn 8.
Oh, something's parted company with the left rear wheel there. In fact, it looks like it's the wheel nut. It's gone.
Macro drove on to take race 1 honours ahead of Caruso and Denya. Sunday's second race, and it was Wayne Wakefield with a blinder of a start out of position 4.
Wakefield up to second place already.
Caruso began his move through the field, disposing of Denya, then Wakefield to reclaim his starting position. Driving hard through the field from a 9th place start was Mark Porter, and soon made his intentions clear on Wakefield.
Oh, touch!
Sensing an opportunity, Grant Denya tried to capitalise on the action ahead, only to be hung out at turn 1.
Who will yield? Porter! Porter tries to take the line. Denya's off to the inside.
Denya's day went from bad to worse, turned around by an enthusiastic D'Alberto. Nathan Pretty put the hip and shoulder into his pass for 4th, but no one could touch Macro, who would claim the race and round victory. Caruso second, with Wakefield 3rd overall.
He strikes first in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series.
Goulburn's Wakefield Park played host to round 2 of the championship, and despite the chilly conditions, things were a little heated at the start of race 1.
Oh, D'Alberto! Tony D'Alberto and Jay Vernick. Vernick has clouded the wall.
On the restart, Porter threw away the lead with a heavy right foot at turn 2.
So Porter's looped it. He's just got on the power a little bit early coming out of turn 1 there, and he spun it all on his own. He'll be devastated with that one.
Contact between Falk and Dean forced the race to finish under safety car conditions. Adam Macro claimed yet another victory. Luke Yilden, replacing Grant Denya for 1 round, finished second, whilst the next position saw the first sign of a new star, with Shane Price 3rd. The first reverse grid race of the year began fairly cleanly. However, it wasn't long before things became a little rough as young Kiwi star Chris Pither tried the inside line at the last turn.
Chris Pither's in all sorts of trouble here. Oh, and he's clouded someone. I think that may have been Thompson from Dick Johnson Racing.
Michael Caruso, who struggled in qualifying with engine issues at his home track, robbed himself and Shannon O'Brien from a podium spot by turning the 45 Falcon around. Terry Waihoon took the win, with Mark Porter and Tony Evangelou the next home. Yilden had pole for the final, but it was Macro who had the power down and led the field away.
He's ahead of him and he'll swing into the lead into turn 1.
2 corners later, Yilden ran wide and let several cars by. Macro was the class act, taking a comfortable race victory and the round win as well. Luke Yilden claimed second in the round, ahead of Max Trucks Commodore driver Nathan Pretty. It was north to Queensland Raceway for round 3, and a huge field, 41 cars fronted for race 1. Once again, Porter and Macro were on the front row, with Porter making the best of the start.
He will lead them into turn 1 for the first time. Look at the cars riding the bumps.
Tony Evangelou adopted an interesting cooling system, whilst Nathan Pretty suffered an engine failure, initiating the first of many infield fires. Unsure about yellow flags, Shane Price lost 2 spots on the last corner of the last lap. However, Mark Porter hung on to claim his first victory of the season.
Mark Porter has taken out the opening race. Well done to the Kiwi.
The start of race 2 could have been disastrous. However, quick thinking by many avoided contact with the stalled car of Kelly.
And so lucky not to have been slammed by one of the faster cars coming through there.
David Clark turned around Mark Howard whilst contesting the lead and was shown the black flag, much to the disappointment of the crew. Porter's good run ceased with a power steering issue sidelining the Hydrolink Commodore.
That'll finish the championship, won't it?
Clark waited until the last lap to serve his drive-through, and in doing so, handed the race win to Kane Scott. Newcomer Chris Alajajan second and Mark McNally 3rd. Jack Perkins and Adam Macro led the field away for race 3, and the rookie held his own into turn 1.
Perkins, the rookie though, what a start from the youngster.
Stephen Voigt experienced a small fire in pit lane, whilst Mark Porter began a big charge through the field.
As Mark Porter, how good are the brakes on that Hydrolink Commodore?
The two Perkins engineering teammates argued over second place, with Price getting the upper hand. However, further back, the arguments were more intense.
Liddell's had contact with Tanton. Oh, Clark! Almost over!
David Clark, the unfortunate victim of this contact, while 2 laps later...
Oh, again, somehow O'Brien has fired off the circuit. I think Wakefield is through.
Shane Price held off the pressure from Mark Porter, but it was again Adam Macro, the race and round winner in Queensland. A fantastic effort from the rookies, Shane Price and Jack Perkins taking second and third in the round respectively, with Price jumping to second in the championship.
Excellent performance from both the Black Commodores.
Michael Caruso returned to form in his home state of New South Wales at the Oran Park circuit, but yet again it was the better electrical number 27 entry of Adam Macro on the front row. Pither was boxed in by a multi-car incident, but Adam Macro added more points to a large championship lead with a win over Caruso and Pretty. Race 2 and the tight traffic of the reverse grid forced Mark Porter into a spin, hit from behind by Nathan Pretty. Chris Pither ended his weekend after an airbox fire in the Kangalooda's Falcon. However, the fortune changed for David Clark, taking victory in the reverse grid from Andrew Thompson and Tony Evangelou.
And he makes a terrific start as well.
Tony D'Alberto made the most of a race 3 front row start with a rocket launch off the line to lead the field. Michael Caruso suffered a wild ride exiting the bridge underpass on the first lap, putting paid to his chances.
Blocked the inside line.
Caruso's,
but looks like he may have hit that tyre bundle pretty hard too.
3 laps in and the mood in the GMAC racing team turned sour when Tony D'Alberto was adjudged to have made an illegal practice start.
Wow, this is a big one. This is for our race leader.
Price assumed the race lead ahead of Macro with Denyer third, but the TV personality's joy was short-lived.
Grant, pit lane drive-through penalty, mate.
Oh no, Grant Denyer has copped the drive-through penalty now.
Penalty this lap, false start.
Inserted back into the field, things went from bad to worse for the Summit Fleet Leasing driver, caught up in an incident ahead of him.
And Grant Denyer has now gone around.
In only his second round in the V8s, Chris Alajarjan was driving well in third. Oil, though, forced him off the track.
Alajarjan's had a spin there, Cam McConville, and another Barry Tanson's off too, I think.
Shane Price drove to an emphatic race victory ahead of Nathan Pretty, but for the 4th time in a row, unbelievable, Adam Macro claimed the round win, with Price yet another second. Matthew White's consistency helped him onto the podium for the first time this year. Shane Price added another feather to his cap at Mallala with a pole position for round 5 of the series, but it was Macro who led at the first turn.
But both Perkins and Price starting nicely, those demon black Larry Perkins built Commodores, second and third.
Mark Porter applied the pressure to Perkins until a mistake forced him off the track.
Look at Mark Porter, big dive bomb under brakes, that will not work.
Replacing Wayne Wakefield in the V8 Experience AU since round 4 was Luke Youlden. However, he made the wrong kind of impression to the back of Chris Pither.
Oh, the contact, big one into Chris Pither. He just could not pull it up, Cam.
Macro claimed win number 8 of the season with the Perkins cars next in line.
Checkered flag for Adam Macro. What a way to start the weekend.
The start of race 2 claimed its fair share of victims, and things were a little heated for Gary Dean. Kane Scott took his second win of the year with Youlden, a better drive to position 2 ahead of Chris Pither.
But boy, he'll enjoy a nice lead if he can maximise this, and he does it beautifully off the line. Nice traction, roars away.
Adam Macro made a fantastic start in race 3. However, behind him, Grant Denyer was turned around by his teammate, adding to an already frustrating weekend. Price set out after Macro, applying plenty of pressure to the championship leader. The battle for third was just as intense, with Porter searching wide for a pass on Jack Perkins.
Look at how deep he goes under brakes.
It eventually came easy for Porter when engine issues forced Perkins to retire mid-race. Despite his efforts, Price could not get around Macro, who drove to victory and a record 5 round wins in a row. Price claimed second for the 3rd event in a row, with Mark Porter a solid 3rd.
But if you include the Island last year, 6 unbeaten rounds in the development series. Go you good things, says Adam Macro.
Mount Panorama Bathurst offered a new name to the top of the timesheets after qualifying, a stunning performance by DJR's young star Andrew Thompson. Nathan Pretty pushed Thompson hard into turn 1, but a first lap incident with Pine and later Fork further up the hill forced the first of many safety cars. Nathan Pretty retired from second with more engine dramas, and incidents involving Evangelou and McNally saw the WPS Chrysler back on track. On lap 12, Mark Porter, driving the Hydrolink Commodore, spun at Reed Park. and was left stranded in the middle of the track. Porter was tagged by Chris Alajarjan and then hit heavily by David Clark. The incident brought the race to a conclusion, handing the win to Andrew Thompson, Tony D'Alberto second and Shane Price third. Tragically, the accident claimed the life of Mark Porter, who later died in hospital on the Sunday afternoon. David Clark suffered serious injuries, but within months was well on the road to recovery. In race 2, Thompson again pulled into an early lead, whilst behind him Tony D'Alberto came under fire from the two Jack Daniels cars.
Khan looking good at the moment. He's getting a helping hand here. Jack Perkins is coming with him. They have both moved around Tony D'Alberto.
The safety car was dispatched after Robert Jones took a heavy hit with the wall, but in the end, Thompson was just too good, claiming his second race and first round victory at Australia's most demanding circuit. Shane Price boosted his points haul with another second outright, his fourth in a row, ahead of teammate Jack Perkins. For the first time since Phillip Island 2005, Adam Macro did not win the round, but he heads into the final event with a healthy points lead. Adam Macro's chances of his first Fujitsu V8 Supercar Championship were made that little bit harder at Phillip Island with a crash in Friday practice, followed by a technical infringement for a breach of the Spark Advance rule. That forced him to the rear of the grid for race 1. To make matters worse, his championship rival Shane Price had qualified the Jack Daniels Commodore on pole and led the field into the first turn. Grant Denyer gave series newcomer and former V8U champion Damien White the hurry-up at the Southern Loop.
White plays defensive. This Dick Johnson Racing Falcon has got some grunt.
Before setting out after Wayne Wakefield. An outside attempt at the high-speed turn 1 resulted in contact and a bent steering arm for the Summit Falcon, with Denyer eventually slipping back through the field. Adam Macro patiently moved his way forward and by race end had made up 27 places to finish 9th. However, Shane Price claimed the race victory ahead of Thompson and D'Alberto. Price had moved to within 80 points of Macro, and there was still 160 points available in the final race. Despite an early lead, Shane Price slipped back to second after Andrew Thompson passed at Lukey Heights.
Great move by Thompson down the inside of Shane Price on cold tyres.
Also shuffled back was Adam Macro, who elected to stay out of trouble in the early laps, and despite running 4 spots back from his starting position, still held a slender points lead. Grant Denyer made some strong moves forward, passing Jack Perkins, Michael Caruso and Nathan Pretty in quick succession. In the end, Thompson claimed the race and round win, his second in a row. Despite a great drive for second, Shane Price could not withhold Macro from the title, the Howard Racing driver finishing 10th and wrapping up the championship by 40 points. A tremendous effort by V8 rookies Shane Price and Jack Perkins to finish second and third respectively in the championship.
Experience at the start.
To spin it back in the pack, it's Mark.
The opening round of the championship will go to Adam Macro. He strikes first in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series. Porter versus Macro. Big Birdie has clouded the wall.
You carry yourself so high, like you don't care.
And he wins the final race and the round here at Wakefield Park. Underway in race 2 does it nicely as well. Stall on the grid, there's a stall car on the grid, and this will create mayhem. Adam Macro wins the round. And Macro wins the round. Shane Price to your right, Adam Macro, the series leader, undefeated so far in 2006 on the left. Look at Luke Yulden. Oh, the contact, big one into Chris Piffer. Jack Perkins settle in for second and third. Denyer's gone. Turn 1, 6 unbeaten rounds in the development series. Go you good things, says Adam Macro.